Hey everyone, today we're gonna talk about the WristGrips, which is a compression band for musicians. I've been using wristbands for many years actually. I first started out wearing them back when I was a nerdy kid who watched too much Dragon Ball, because the guys in Dragon Ball had wristbands when they were doing the fighting. So that's when I bought my first pair, because I wanted to do some cosplay thing before cosplay was a thing here in Sweden. But then when I started playing bass seriously, when I was about 15, 16 years old, I saw guys like Steve Harris, Billy Sheehan, and other 80s metal bass players wearing these wristbands all across their wrists, and I thought it looked cool, so I started wearing them as well. And I actually have a small collection here of wristbands. These are the ones I've been wearing for, I think, about 3 or 4 years now. As you can see, they're pretty worn out. There's not much compression going on there at all. This one is still a bit alive. This one is not. But I've been using these live for about 3 or 4 years now. My initial usage of these was just to wipe away sweat from my forehead and to keep my right arm from sticking to my bass as it was getting sweatier and sweatier, and I kept on sticking on my lower arm. So that was the first usage of these when I first started using them, and I thought that was the reason why all these bass players were using these wristbands. So these ones I've been using for quite a few years, mostly live, sometimes in videos, sometimes when I'm recording just, because I like the look, essentially. However, I did notice a slight benefit from using these, and I never thought much about why. However, this past summer, I started developing a bit of a tendonitis issue in my right hand. Mainly my ring finger was getting numb. As I was playing, it was basically numbing, and it was tingling. It was when your limbs fall asleep, it felt like that when I was playing, and that scared the shit out of me, to be honest with you. And I started looking things up, and you should always keep your wrist as straight as possible on both hands when you're playing. I never had much of an issue with my left hand, to be honest with you. However, this time with my right hand, it really freaked me out. And around that time, my buddy Ivan Carranza, posted a video of him using the WristGrips and how he felt that he had been benefited from using them when playing. So I reached out to the European distributor, who were kind enough to send me a pair of WristGrips. So I tried them out, and I must say that I actually experienced quite a big improvement. Full disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, not in any way. I'm not qualified to do any medical diagnosis whatsoever. However, I can only say what I've experienced. So before getting my hand on the WristGrips, I actually went to basically a gym store and bought a compression band from McDavid. It's a bit bigger, it's a bit, scarier almost. And I used that one live, and it worked pretty well. However, the buckle here is pretty big, and it kind of looked like I was sick when I was on stage wearing this, compared to the wrist grip is a bit smaller, and the buckle is quite a bit smaller as well, as you can see. So the main idea with the WristGrips is to keep your wrist straight when you're playing. Most of your tendonitis issues comes from you tilting your hand like this, and making these nice muscles tilted and whatnot. So keeping your wrist straight is actually something very important when you're playing, and that's something that these make sure you do, because they get in the way. I teach music for a living as my day job, and right now we're doing a lot of drumming with my students, so I'm wearing these during the daytime to keep my wrist straight when I'm playing the drums. And I wouldn't say it has made me a better drummer. However, it has made me more endurable when playing, and that's a good thing. So when you buy the WristGrips, you get a pair, and there are one size fits all type solution thingy. So the wrist grips are also moisture wicking, which means that they essentially block additional moisture, sweat from going down your forearm and whatnot, which is a huge plus for me. They're not something that you should, drag across your forehead when you're sweaty, because you will probably not scratch yourself, but it's not as comfortable as these old wristbands that tennis players use. The wrist grips come with a play longer pain-free for 90 days money back guarantee, which essentially means that if you're wearing these on a regular basis when you're playing, you should be able to play for longer amounts of time without experiencing the pain that you perhaps have been experiencing earlier. For me, they actually made the pain and the numbing go away, and that made me very, very happy. Wearing these wrist grips has really helped me, I feel. So I'm really grateful that I got the chance to check these out. They're easy to adjust, they're easy to, put on your wrist. There is a slight learning curve, knowing how much you want to tighten them, but you usually get there within like 2 or 3 tries, and then it's pretty much just, downhill from there. That being said, I'm really happy using the wrist grips. I'm using them all the time now that I'm playing both guitar and bass. One of the reasons why I think I experienced that numbing sensation and pain was that I got a new bass, which was quite a bit different in the body shape and in the pickup position and whatnot. So instead of being mindful of how I placed my hand, I just went along with it and just played along for way too much time without paying attention to how I placed my hands and whatnot, and I think that's what caused the pain in the first place. These ones keep my wrist straight, and it actually makes me mindful about how I place my hands and whatnot. I've been using them live, I've been using them in the studio, I've been using them for practicing, I've been using them for rehearsals, and yeah, I'm really happy with these. So the wrist grips, I can highly recommend them. Thank you so much, CB and the guys at Box of Tricks, for sending me these to check out. I'll have the link in the description for the wrist grips. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.